Joe has called the streets of Hannibal home for 20 years. In that time, he's seen the numbers of homeless people grow.
I see things getting worse. I see more people than I care to shake a stick at. When I first got to Hannibal, there was probably 10, 11 people homeless, but this is in the summer.
Now he says those numbers can reach as high as 40 during the summer around the 4th of July. But homelessness is hard to track. Some homeless people are like Joe. They live wherever they can, from underneath bridges to abandoned buildings and caves. KHQA has learned that there are cardboard box villages of sorts where groups of homeless people live together. Other homeless people make their nightly journey to bunk down here at the city's homeless shelter called the Hope House. Other people seek shelter with family and friends, but are essentially homeless. While Hannibal's one-day February homeless count reports numbers at around 30, the count is much larger in the summer months when weather is better for those who live on the streets.
It breaks my heart to think that a human being is so uncared about, uncared for, all right, that they can't find shelter in America's hometown.
Pastor Ron Pasha runs the Loaves and Fishes program, providing meals for many of them every night during the week. He sees firsthand the numbers of homeless growing in the past few years. Pasha says the people he meets have many different stories about how they came to live on the streets. Some are transients, while others are just traveling through the area, on their way to a better life or new job, and then fell into hard times. Still others, he says, are local and just need a hand up.
I'm not going to be one of those people that says, oh, God helps those who help themselves. Well, so there's a lot of times those people are in a situation they don't know what to do.
Still, for others who don't want the rules of a shelter, homelessness is a lifestyle choice, according to Hannibal Police Chief Lyndall Davis. But no matter what the reason, it's bringing with it some big city problems. Has homelessness gotten worse in Hannibal in the last decade?
Yes, in a lot of ways. Disorderly conduct, things of that nature, have increased right around 150% in just over a year.
No matter the reason for the increase, numbers of homeless people like Joe are living on the streets.
I don't know what to tell anybody. I just know that something needs to be done to help these people.
Melissa Shriver, KHQA News, Hannibal.
It's a hard life and makes us old men even before time.
Freezing winter days like this are some of the hardest for Joe, who's been living on the streets of Hannibal for 20 years. He calls this town his home and roves it constantly, looking for abandoned buildings, bridges, and caves for protection from the biting wind.
They got to keep warm. What we want to do, run around, pick up dead bodies?
Dumpsters serve as his refrigerators most days, but it's meals like this at area food kitchens that give him a chance to come in out of the cold to thaw out his freezing fingers. Joe has to keep moving to keep warm and knows the end result if he doesn't. He chokes up as he talks about his friend who froze to death one winter. It's about survival on the streets, and many times the friends he calls his family don't make it.
20 years been out here. I buried 6. There was no reason for any of them to go. I can't bury no more people.
There are many places Hannibal's homeless make their shelter. One of the most common is here, along the Mississippi River near the old amphitheater. It seems we just missed some homeless people who built this fire to keep warm the night before. Others take shelter in the old water plant nearby. In another building, Joe recalls a week in which 8 or more people lined up their sleeping bags and blankets and slept on this dirt floor. In another nearby stone building, there's evidence of a homeless person living here right now. This tarp would actually be used to spread out on the ground in order to keep the muddy earth from seeping into sleeping bags. One of the hardest hit areas in town is right here in downtown Hannibal at the Wyman's Pavilion, as well as the restrooms across the street. The destruction here ranges from regular property damage to feces being spread in the sinks and on the walls. Just nearby, Corporal Wilt found this bag of a homeless person's trash left behind with his business card, as if a homeless person were sending a message to police. This is what an overnight homeless camp looks like, and it seems we just missed a group of homeless people living right here the night before. Chief Lyndall Davis says the growing numbers of homeless people his officers deal with aren't people down on their luck. He says they're mostly transients who've chosen Hannibal as their home.